Hello, everyone. This is TJ. We are at the Legit Real Estate Podcast. I'm here with Holly Rigoli. Holly, good
Hello.
morning.
Morning.
Good freaking morning. I'm excited because we were thinking about topics the other day and trying to think about like things that happen on showings that are strange, right? Again, and I want to remind people, if you're here for today's market rates and you want to hear about the 600 houses on the market in Rhode Island, go somewhere else. That information's all available. We're here to tell stories and have a good time. Reminder, like us, share, follow, subscribe, all the things that people do. So one of my first listings, Holly, I want to get right to it because I got a whole list of stories these other people have been sharing around the country, and I do want to pass them on. But one of my first showings, right? I was on a team. I think I mentioned that last week. I was on a team, and the team leader had a rental property. It was like 2 houses, 1 lot kind of thing. So he's like, all right, I want you to take this listing. This can be your first listing. It was one of his properties. And really what it was a chance for me to like fill out all the paperwork, and he reviewed the paperwork and all this kind of stuff, right? So I just noticed that your lipstick matches your hoodie. I love it.
Actually, it's I got my scout hoodie on, but
I'm feeling it.
surprisingly they're not the same color, but they kind of blend, huh?
Yeah, they do. No, it looks like that was a concerted effort. Next week, I'm going to wear some gray lipstick with my gray hoodie.
There you go.
We'll see how that flies when my kids see it.
I can send you some red though for your hat.
Listen, red lipstick's not going to fly around this house. So anyway, I got this listing, and of course I get a phone call on listing. I'm so excited, right? So this is my first showing, first listing. I think everybody that looks at a house is going to buy a house. So I'm like, oh my God, my first paycheck. This is going to be awesome. So it's a 2-story house. So the guy goes upstairs. Not 20 seconds later, all you hear, it sounded like someone dropped a suitcase down a flight of stairs. So the guy that was looking at the house pretty much tumbled down the stairs like
Oh
it was like,
no.
yeah, like it was like sketch comedy. And this dude, boom, 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 boom.
Oh,
And I'm here with my mentor or the team leader, and he's like, "Nope, time to go, right? Time to go, everyone go." So I don't think anything came of it, but when I was thinking of that story, and that was the funniest thing, because me being young and immature, even now in my old age, like I just started laughing. Like, what do you do
oh
when
my
someone falls
God.
down a flight of stairs? You laugh, right? And that a thing. That's a thing.
That's not a normal thing. If someone falls down a flight of stairs, your first instinct should be, oh my God, they need to be helped.
Yeah, no. The first thing when you see someone fall, and I tell my kids all the time, like my little one, he doesn't like to hold hands. He's brave. So when there's ice in the driveway, I'll say, "Don't fall." What's Dad gonna do if you fall? You'll laugh. You're damn right. Falling is funny. Falling is funny. So anyway, I was looking online and I'm like, what are these? And I was going through some emails that came in, and I want to hear what you think you would do in this situation. Like this guy right here, he was showing a house, and I don't know how do you handle showings? Do you follow the people around?
I try not to. So you're talking about when I'm listing or walking
Either
or
side.
with,
Yeah,
so
when you're the listing agent, say you're the
this
listing agent.
side, I'll usually kind of bring them to some of the important things and kind of point out stuff, but then let say, go ahead and walk around. And if I'm here, if you need any questions, and then I kind of just stay in another room and kind of listen.
I do a similar thing, right? So I'm going to point out any features or benefits to the property, but I'm not going to go point at doors and be like, "That's a bathroom,"
Right.
you know. And in most of the country, listing agents don't show up to listing appointments. In fact, in our own office within our group, many agents don't go to listing appointments. Everything's on a lockbox. You want to see the house, let your buyer agent go in, and I like that idea. So I try, and even if I have clients who aren't comfortable with lockboxes, which around here we have a culture where they expect you to show up. Um, I try not to be in the way. Like I'll point out
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z, and then sometimes, matter of fact, if the house is kind of tight, I'll go sit in the car and be like, "I'll be here to answer questions when you're done. We can talk in the driveway afterwards. I'm sure you'll have questions as you go through." But one, I'm always of the approach, I don't want to say anything stupid. Like I don't know what
Yeah.
your client's looking for. So maybe I go out there and maybe I'm showing the backyard and I say, "Look at how big this yard is." And your client's like scared to cut grass. And
Yeah.
I just ruined the deal, right? Because
Yep.
I pointed out something that anyway, one thing I do like to do is make sure no one's home. So in this situation, the guy used a lockbox, and the buyer, so this is from the point of view of the buyer's agent, walks in and the house is dead quiet. So she proceeds to, let her client start wandering around the house. But what she didn't know is that the seller was just getting out of the shower. And when they opened the bedroom door, surprise.
Oh my God. That's awful. Did the seller like
Surprise.
see
Like,
that's
like no towel, like
oh my
the
God.
full on no towel.
Oh my God. That is crazy. So in Connecticut, most of the houses, like I think I've met one real estate agent in Connecticut with all the deals I've done there. Occupied or unoccupied, the houses are all on lock boxes. And some of them we have to use this smart lock thing, which is a special whatever. But I am always nervous going into occupied homes because sometimes you just don't know. Like there could have been a misunderstanding between like trying to set up the appointment. I have gone into houses and there have been people in there and not naked, not getting out of the shower, but you walk in and you're like, wait, why are you here?
Yeah, you know what? It definitely happens. Like communication, we all feel like we communicate pretty good, but my wife doesn't know every time someone's coming over here. Like it's very easy to get lost in the shuffle that you got to get out the house, or you forget, or you're busy, or you happen to be taking a shower.
Oh my
But
God, that's
I'm just
awful.
picturing like walking out, and it's like, "Hello."
Oh God, that's awful. Well, I would be curious to know what the reaction was of the homeowner.
I mean, I'm thinking the first reaction was a scream.
Yeah, yeah,
Wouldn't
somebody's
that
in
be
my
the
house
reflex?
and I've heard of people going into the wrong houses and like showing the wrong house and stuff because people just leave the doors unlocked. And oh my gosh, I hate going into occupied houses when no one's there because I'm just always uncertain.
Hello. I just yell, "Hello, real estate." I just yell real estate as many times as I can to try and
Yep.
get like a sound. Have you ever changed the time of an open house? Like, so in other words, you're doing an open house from 10 to 12, and then you decide for whatever reason, I got to do it from 11 to 1. Have you ever
I
done that?
don't if I've posted it online because I'm too afraid of people still. Actually, wait, I did cancel an open house once and people still showed up anyway.
So I have my sister's house on the market, and she calls me. I don't know. I had just left her house. I was on the highway, so it must have been 15 minutes after the open house ended. And she goes, so I was making a sandwich, and three people just walked in my house.
Oh no.
I said, "Oh Lord." I said, what did you do?" She said, "Well, the dogs went nuts because right after the open house, the dogs come back, the lights go back on."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I said, "Did you show them around?" She said, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh, next time, be careful, Chris." But yeah, people that will happen.
Yep.
That will happen with the people being home. So this guy over here had a realtor who was buried on her phone. Oh, I could so picture this happening. The realtor was walking around the patio, buried with her head in her phone, which we all do, until splat right in the pool.
Oh my God. Now that I would laugh at. Not somebody
Yeah,
falling down the stairs, but that I would laugh at.
Holly, we've established falling is fun.
Not down the stairs. I just picture like an actually one of my friends just fell down the stairs this weekend at an event we were at and the poor thing was like had an egg on her head. It was at the cathedral. We were at a confirmation at the cathedral and she fell down. The poor thing had like an egg on her head. She was bleeding. It was awful. Like I can't laugh at that. A pool, yes. I will totally laugh at that.
Well, isn't the pool more dangerous than the stairs, though?
No.
I think the worst part about falling in a pool because I was on my phone would be that I would have to replace my phone. I think that would bother me more
Yeah.
than being all wet because I don't embarrass easily. Like
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
I
I
could
would
laugh
be
at my.
embarrassed if that was me. I would be absolutely
Oh,
embarrassed.
I'd come up laughing, but the first reaction would be, "Oh, I got to get a new phone. What a pain in the ass that is. I hope I didn't lose my pictures."
Yeah. Well, most phones now withstand some water, thank God, because I'm really clumsy with my phone.
It's such a thing that would happen to a realtor too, because half the time we are buried in our phones.
Hmm.
Let's see. So that was we got a couple bathroom stories. I'm gonna skip those. Like you open the door and someone's in the bathroom. I think the shower thing is like totally
No,
hilarious.
it was crazy. One of my friends, I saw her post it online, and we're gonna have to get her on at some point. She's awesome. She went to go into a house, and the house had like a padlock on the outside to get in. And when she unlocked the padlock to get into the house, there was already somebody inside the house who was trying to get out of the house because it's a
What?
padlock. There was no way for them to get out of the house. I guess without, I mean, they hadn't I probably would have tried to go through a window or something. I don't know if it was boarded up or whatnot. Probably if there's a padlock, it's probably boarded up. But it was a
Yeah.
poor older gentleman that was wandering around the house trying to get out of the house and couldn't get out of the house. And in addition to that, there was another group that was somewhere else in the house that came out after as well. They couldn't find their way out of the house either.
How
That was
big
in
was
Rhode
the
Island.
how big was the house?
I don't know. I don't know. I gotta get her to give
Oh,
us the story, but I know she went there and she went to open it, and there was somebody inside that couldn't, more people than one that couldn't get out. Can you imagine?
you would think there's a number of ways out, but I guess. Mhm.
Again, maybe it was boarded up. It could have been a foreclosure, and if you board up a foreclosure, it's not as easy to get
You're
out.
right. Yeah, you're correct. Especially if they do have a padlock like that. Maybe sometimes during a foreclosure, they want to lock the owner out. Like they don't want them back in, right? So
Yeah,
they're taking the property.
yeah. I
That
went
happened
in.
on a con where
Yeah,
they locked the guy, all his shit was inside. I felt bad for him.
yeah. I went into one recently, and that's what it was. It had been a foreclosure. It was foreclosed on like 8 years ago, but you could only get in through the padlock on the outside of the house. And then downstairs in the basement door was barricaded shut from the inside. So you couldn't really get out, and it was all boarded up, and all the windows were boarded up. So I could see that happening in a foreclosure house.
So this is not real estate related, but you're going to see my wife on Friday. Are you going to be there on Friday?
I am. I'm getting my hair done. I got a dress. I got shoes. I'm all excited. We have a
You wearing
gala.
heels? You wearing heels?
Oh, I am, but they're not big. They're like 3 inch heels.
So for people who are watching that don't know us in person, Holly's taller than me. So when Holly wears heels, like I'm gonna have to stand on a chair in order for us to take a picture together. She's got like 3 inch heels. I'm screwed. But you got to ask my wife when you see her on Friday. A story. Speaking of getting disoriented in a house, when we first started dating, she lived in an apartment, and I went to the basement. I think I went to the basement to like turn the laundry or something,
Mhm.
and I got lost down there. The door shut behind me, and there were no lights.
Oh, geez.
I was in the basement in pitch. When I say pitch black, like you couldn't see an inch in front of your face. There was no windows, no nothing. And I was down there. She'll tell you how long, but I feel like I was down there for like an hour.
Oh my God.
Couldn't find my way out, and she didn't come looking for me because she thought like, we were watching Criminal Minds every week at the time. Like she
Oh
thought I
my,
was a goner. Yeah, you got to ask. That's a
like
true
a
story.
goner meeting, like somebody got you, or a goner,
Yeah,
like you
like
just, oh, that's
no,
funny.
like the serial killer came and got me in the basement.
Oh my God.
And I
That's
was like, so you're
funny.
just gonna let me rot down there? And she was like, yeah, I wasn't going down there.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
Not when you were me. And we were dating, so I'm like, this is gonna be the end of us.
I
Like,
can't even imagine you would, that's nuts.
yeah, this girl's gonna think I'm a moron. Like, I'm surprised she kept me after that. And I don't even feel bad because now she knew what she signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, we got animal stories. Animal stories are great. This guy let a bird. Oh, this guy let a bird out of the house. Oh, bird
Oh,
people will flip.
yeah.
My mother-in-law has a parrot, and they let it out of the cage like on
Oh,
occasion.
like a pet bird?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you meant like, oh, you go in a house and bird got in and they let it out. Oh, that's so
get in
bad.
big trouble for that because they're not really equipped. Yeah, big trouble for that. Yeah, my mother-in-law has a bird, and they let it out of the house. Simon's mean. He like
Oh,
bites. Imagine, and they're expensive birds.
oh my God. They live up to like what, 30 years or so?
Oh,
So,
I like 80 for this particular one that I'm gonna inherit someday.
oh my God. No, thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna
I had
grill it.
birds once when I was little. Well, I had parakeets and I had cockatoo tails, the smaller ones. They're, oh, I don't know, birds are gross. I have like 23 or 24 chickens right now.
You
5 of them
do?
turned out to be roosters and they crow all night long.
Wait, wait,
All
wait.
night.
Back up. You have chickens?
I do. Come on, I live in Foster. I bought my house. Talk about birds and houses. I was excited when we came to look at this house. The house came with 5 chickens.
No
So,
way.
yep. So my husband's favorite thing about my house is that it didn't look like any other house. I live in a reproduction house that was built in the 80s, but it looks like it's from the 1800s. It's post and beam. I
Oh, okay, then that's
loved,
cool.
yeah, I like it a lot. I just suck at decorating, like that period kind of thing. We're due for an overhaul. I'm painting our main floor, and I'm like, my mind leans towards modern, but I'm trying to still keep the look, and I don't have skills in that. But he loved it. We walked in. He loves because it's got that cabin feel kind of. And then I loved looking out the back door and just seeing the woods. And then we had I remember looking out and seeing like a rat go up the ramp to the chicken coop, and I'm like, "Oh, that kind of sucks." But I was excited about the chickens, and we started with 5. At one point we were up to over 30. At one point a couple of years ago when my mom was really sick, I got rid of all of them. And about a year and a half, 2 years, a year ago or so, we got them again. And then we got some silkies, which are wicked cute. They are fuzzy and like they're like half the size of a regular chicken. But 3 out of the 4 we got are roosters, and they have such a weird crow. They sound
Now,
weird.
where you are, can your neighbors hear your roosters?
I'm sure they can because 3 of the silkies are right up against the house that they built on the side of me that wasn't existing until this year. They just moved
Oh, they, oh,
in November. I didn't have any neighbors that you could see at all. And then someone built a house on the side of me and they moved in November. And my little chicken coop is right near their house.
oh, they hate you. They so hate you.
They probably do.
What is the point of having chickens? Is it so you can have eggs, or do you just need another responsibility?
It's the eggs. And now that my
It's
kids are older, it's their responsibility. It's not bad. Like my son goes out every morning. My husband's been getting him up at 4 because he has trouble getting all his stuff done. He's 14. He goes out, he feeds them, gives them water, takes the
Wait a
eggs.
minute. 14 and you got that boy up working at 4 in the morning?
Yep. I mean, his
But the
normal get up time is supposed to be 5, but he's been having trouble getting. He's a teenager and he doesn't get things done unless you say. We could do a whole episode on teenagers, but wait till your boys get there. All right, CJ, get out of bed. All right, make your bed. All right, is your bed made? Okay, now get your clothes on and go outside. Feed the chickens, give them water, put the scratch down, give them the scraps. All right, get the eggs, bring them in, fill the water back up. Like this is my husband literally has to like tell him these things because when you let him just do it on his own, he's just and it's the hardest thing as a parent because for me, I'm like, I just do the damn stuff myself because I don't have the patience to sit there and tell them that, but they have to learn. He does get money from them. We sell the eggs for $4 a dozen, so he gets to keep all that, and we're getting at least a dozen a day. So
no way.
yeah.
Well, all right. So to tie that into real estate, first I'll tell you about my kid. Today, my kid put ice packs in his lunchbox, and
Mm-hmm.
he did that when I was brushing my teeth. And I was so happy that one of my kids did something. So Tommy's 9. To put the ice packs in the lunchbox, it literally requires opening the freezer, taking a blue thing and putting it in a lunchbox, zipping it up. It takes about 11 seconds. But if I ever told them, they're gonna have to listen to this. Boys, hello. 4 o'clock in the morning, taking care of some chickens.
Oh yeah, no,
Like my kid's not.
that's not just it. Like they have he also has to what does he do else he does in the morning? He has to wash all the eggs, put them away. Now my daughter's 10 and she has to get up, empty the dishwasher, and the strainer. At night, she's the one that has to clean up after dinner and fill the dishwasher. And on the weekends, they're the ones my friend was just looking for cleaning services. And I'm like, it's called kids. It sucks that they don't do a very good job, but they're the ones that are vacuuming, washing the floors, cleaning the
Get out of
bathrooms.
here.
That's their responsibility. If they want to go and do fun things, if otherwise I'm spending my weekends cleaning the whole damn house, if they're not doing it, I can't take them to scouts and band practice and dance and I'm not
Oh,
rich enough to have somebody clean my house.
you,
So the kids have to do it.
you need to come over here and like counsel my family because we're not doing that. Like my
Wow.
wife's doing 96% of the things around here, and like I do the other 4%, which is pretty much all I'm. So my wife treats me like a kid. Like whatever I do is not good enough. Like if I wash the dishes, we're not allowed to use the dishwasher because my dog has like convulsions.
Oh
So
no.
so I mostly wash the dishes because I can do that. But she still complains about how I stack them. Like I done the laundry, she gets mad about how I do her laundry is not supposed to. Some things get hung, some things don't. But my kids don't do a damn thing. Now their new thing is they want some money.
Oh yeah,
So
no.
they want some money, so they want to do chores in order to earn the money, which is fine. Yeah, we're driving home the other day, and I said, guys, and I'm going to tie this into real estate in a minute, but we're they want some money. We're talking in the car after school, and I guess whatever. I'm like, well, we can talk to mom. We'll come up with a list of chores you guys can do. You could at least feed the damn animals. Like this is takes 1 second to scoop the anyway.
Mhm.
So we're from there. We go to the bank. I go to the bank. I get an envelope. I take the cash out of the envelope to give it to the teller to do the deposit, and I give the envelope. I give it to the little one. I say, go throw this away for me. He goes and throws it away. He comes back $2.
Oh.
I said $2. He said, you told me if I helped, I could get money. I said, you think you're getting $2 for throwing something in the trash? That's what we're doing. But anyway, as you know, I coach agents a lot. And
Mhm.
new agents are sort of like kids in a sense, where it's so much easier for me to just do it for you. Like I just want to do it for you because I'll get it done in 45 seconds
Mhm.
and it's going to take me 20 minutes to teach you how to do it.
Mhm.
But in order for them to become successful, what do we have to do? We have to teach them how to do it and spend the
Mhm.
time so that they learn and do it. So um, new agents and children are not,
Well,
I know.
so the other thing too is you have so starting with this generation that's young now, um, those that are getting out of school are just expecting things to be handed to them. So
Right.
if we and so and I think what were the numbers? You might remember this. I know they've been announcing how many we're in Rhode Island and how I think we had over 1,200 agents drop. It was a
Yeah, it's
ridiculous number
1,800 people didn't renew.
this past year, this year, just
And that
in one
number's going to
year.
grow because don't forget our renewal is really due in May.
Yeah,
And so people who haven't done their continuing eds and don't want to pay, I don't know what the number is, 700-800 bucks that they
yeah.
charge us to NAR. I think that that number is going to get over 2,000 people that's just out of business.
Yeah. And I think part of that comes from the fact that a lot of people in any job, in anything, there's just so many of this younger generation. Now there are good ones too. I've seen some good kids, but there's a lot of people that just expect things to be handed to them because that's just how life has been for them. And they expect to be successful right away and be making money right away, but it takes work. It takes a
But
lot of work.
in most jobs, and here's why the attrition is so high in real estate. In most jobs, if you suck at your first job out of college, you'll still get paid while they work with you. So you get your first office job, you're a staff accountant at some company, and you're in a cubicle with 25 other people that are all doing punching on a spreadsheet. If you suck, you'll have a meeting and you'll have another meeting, and they'll work with you, and we'll. But in the meantime, you're getting paid. In our business, if you don't work, you don't do it well, you get zero.
Yep.
And because HGTV has everyone thinking that we're all driving around in Lamborghinis while we wine and dine our $1 million listings, in reality, like that's not how the business is. Like you have to go
Mhm.
get it, and people have to trust you. And it's a challenge. It really is a challenge to get started.
How long did it take you to feel comfortable enough in real estate to make it your full-time job?
So that's a loaded question because I've always been in this field, even though I wasn't a realtor. So like day one in real estate, the only thing I wasn't comfortable with was kind of meeting other agents. I would be intimidated by people's experience and felt like I didn't know what I was doing. But like I used to work in the foreclosure business, I used to work in the mortgage business. So I was kind of well versed in the language.
Mhm.
But what, I used to get nervous by other agents in terms of the flow of the transaction. I would say it took me, between, 5 and 10 transactions. And I was at a brokerage that really didn't give you any support. So you were
Mhm.
kind of just on your own. And that's really hard, especially when you're working with people. Like, this is so important to them. Buying a house is so important. And if you screw it up, like, I forgot to get a smoke start on my first listing. I show up to the closing. I didn't know I needed it.
Mhm.
And that's a real thing. It delayed the guy's closing. Everybody was mad at me and all that kind of stuff. So um it took a while in the transaction sense between 5 and 10, but the consumer facing, like, getting business was not a thing I struggled with.
Mhm.
Actually, I struggle with it more now because of the damn economy than I did when I first started. Like, it was pretty easy for me to go to some people I had refinanced or go back to some addresses. Plus, I have a massive family. I'm one of 8, so my sister bought a house early on. That kind of helped break the ice for me. My friends bought a house. It wasn't hard as it is for some of these newer agents, um, because there's a lot of moving parts now, and I feel like even the
Mhm.
transactions have gotten more difficult now, paperwork wise and whatever. And yeah, how about you?
Yeah. So I've been in real estate my whole career, coming from property management. However, coming from, a six-figure job and then getting laid off in the middle of COVID, thank God for unemployment because it was able to carry me through. I got laid off in March of 2020, and it wasn't until, let's see, so I went all of 2020. I had like maybe 2 client transactions. The rest of them were like my own, I think they were my own flips or something. I don't even remember. No, I didn't have any of my own. I like had nothing. 2021, I want to say I got to September of 2021 and I was really contemplating going back to work. And I was struggling. I was like, oh my God, I'm running out of unemployment stopping now. And I don't have that supplemental income. What the hell am I going to do? And my husband was constantly telling me, you got to go back to getting a real job. Like, you got to go back to getting a real job. You need a steady paycheck. This isn't working. And I had actually posted, that's when I actually met you because I had posted in our Facebook group and I got such an overwhelming, abundance of support from everyone. And I met with you and I met with Kim from our office, and you guys started helping me counsel through some stuff. I got a lot of good feedback, and things just started picking up because what I realized is in this industry, like, you work and you work and you work and you work, and then months sometimes with things not happening until you have that, because you put in all that work and then things start falling into place. So
Wait,
it
wait,
just so
yeah.
yeah, it's way out because you start talking to people a year, 2 years sometimes before they're ready to sell or before they're ready to buy. And then things started to fall into place. So my consistency of what I started doing, then I think I had like 3 closings before the end of the year. And then 2022 was my best year so far. And I ended up getting that Quantum Leap award because I was 5 transactions in 2021, but they all happened after September. Like, when I had that, like, holy crap, I don't think I can stay in this. I had 5 closings between September and the end of the year. And then the following year, I did well. And even now, I'm like, oh my God, I'll have to borrow money from my HELOC just to make it and stuff. But I really didn't feel like I could actually be successful at this until 2022 when I made it through that year. And I got my real estate license in 2018, didn't start doing it full time in 2020, but it wasn't until 2022 that I was like, okay, this is working. I can do this and support
you
my
know
house.
it's funny because other people have maybe not articulated it as well as you did when you were, like, struggling, but sometimes I try and help people self-discover that maybe they should go get a job. Like, it really, it's not, this business is not for everybody.
No.
Like, like, sometimes it's called, we'll help you self-discover. And I was lucky. My wife was fully supportive from the jump, and we had money put aside for like a year of expenses. It was like, okay, if I don't sell a house for a year, then apparently, but she allowed me to give it an honest go.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to do that at the beginning. I was refereeing 8 basketball games on a Saturday, like, breaking my back just for, like, extra money. But I see a lot of people come into this business where they think that you're going to come in and I'm going to send out a bunch of note cards and then 18 people are going to give me a listing. No,
Yeah.
you have to consistently be working your database and your sphere of influence and building relationships with people that can send you business. And like you said it exactly right. You do the work now, you get paid in a year.
Yeah. And you have to build your credibility. I may have been in real estate, but I was in property management. I flipped a few houses, sold my own houses, but what do I know? Smoke certificates? I didn't. I'm like, "Oh my God, those the simplest things." This is one industry where you come in and it's not like you have classes that teach you how to do your business. It's so much of it is learning from experience. And
Yep.
until you get that experience, it's it's
And,
hard.
and the consumer knows, if the consumer has sold 3 or 4 houses and this is the first one you're working on, they can see right through you.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times, I see some of our new licensees where they get that business. A lot of times it'll be like an uncle doing you a favor. Like the guy knows you don't know anything, but he's gonna do you a favor,
Yep.
or it's a friend, or it's a guy who wants to flip a house that anybody he knows how to do the offer. He doesn't really need to pay you your 2%, but he's gonna do it anyway.
Yep.
Like sometimes you just need a break. But the same thing happens on the other side where if you get really busy, a lot of times it's easy, and I'm guilty of this. You stop doing what made you busy, like you get
Mhm.
super busy, and now I'm working on listing, closing, and then it gets to the end, and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to send out. I haven't been in touch with people in a year, and I have no business. Like you see
Mhm.
that happen over and over, and that's why our attrition rate is so super high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's one more
So,
thing that'll make your attrition rate high. So this guy was driving by, or this guy was driving by a house, and he saw an arrow pointing to the house, and it said open house. So he showed up, but what he didn't realize was it was not an open house for the house to be for sale. It was an open house for it was like a housewarming party.
oh.
And the people had put an arrow. So this guy's talking about how they all had dinner with these random people that came in off the street.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's California. I'd be petrified.
Oh my gosh.
Strangers in. Oh dear. I'm looking at our clock, Hal. That
I
went by.
know we should probably wrap up this episode. And I do apologize for the gap between the first one. And we're going to try to release once a week. I am on a learning curve and I am trying to learn how to do this stuff. And I'm learning. So it's going to get better. We're going to get these out to you at least once a week going forward. So glad you guys are listening.
Again, send us your stories. We like stories, especially if we know the people or the neighborhoods. I feel like Rhode Island stories would be best for us
Mm-hmm.
because we just know how people are around here, and it's a different place. I mean, maybe in other states you don't laugh at people tumbling downstairs, but I do. Can you tell the people where to follow us, where to email us, where's all that
All
stuff?
right. So I would say send your stories to the legit real estate podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. I think we're on iTunes. I did set it up that way. What else are we on? Amazon Music. Pretty
Oh,
much wherever you can find a podcast, look for us. And if we're not there, let me know and I'll try to get us set up
everywhere. My
everywhere.
kids are excited that we're on Spotify.
Yeah, because that's what they're
I,
all
I
using
feel-
now.
that's where the cool kids are. Tommy told me Spotify is where he listens to his stuff.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna have to listen to us then. Maybe I don't know. We might have to bleep out some of your language over there, but yeah.
No, he lives with me. He's heard it all. But
Like,
this
follow,
might be a little
subscribe.
this is boring.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be boring for the kids. But yeah, like, follow, subscribe, and keep us going. Send us your stories so we can get your stories on here. And have a
Till
great
next time.
day.
Have a good day, everyone.